Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and welcome back to another review for the John Candy Marathon. And I know it's weird starting off John Candy Marathon with two rants, but we're going to get to the good stuff. But I was curious about stuff he did before he made his break. I'm not talking about SCTV, but like in Stripes and Splash and so forth. What he did before that. This is one of them. And in a way, this is a sequel to It Seemed Like a Good Idea at the Time, which I ranted on not that long ago, with the very misleading DVD cover that they came out with. And John Candy and this actor Lawrence Dane, who was in films like Bride of Chucky and a very underrated film called Rituals, aka The Creeper with Hal Holbrook. They played two bumbling cops. They had small roles in that film, but here they are the leads. Oh, it's funny, there's a poster I found, and I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell is that? Like, that looks like a film that was released in 1985, the way the poster, like a John Candy from then, but you're not getting the John Candy from Summer Rental, or The Great Outdoors, or Uncle Buck. Not at all. I'm going to try to make this fast, because there's nothing much to say about this fucking film. It's... a lot of the jokes fall flat. There's no comic timing. It's like it's trying to be a bad version. You know that movie Dragnet? You know, you have the TV show, then you have the comedy movie with Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks, which I don't mind that film. I've warmed up to that film. I don't mind Dragnet. This is a shitty version of that. I know it came out before the movie of that, but it's like if they tried to make a comedy version of Dragnet, even some of the music sounds like it's trying to do Dragnet, but it can't, otherwise it gets sued. So they do alterations and it sounds really shitty. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that, but for some reason... Anyway, John Candy, he's not in the film for 5 minutes. He's in the film for quite a bit, along with Lawrence Dane. And, most of John Candy's dialogue, just like in It Seemed Like a Good Idea at the Time, is yes sir and no sir and yes sir. John Candy's at a shooting range. Lawrence Dane comes in the last minute. John Candy isn't paying attention, shoots, the bullet bounces, hits this equipment here, shooting wildly at the targets. And that's how our film starts. And the circus music and a montage of clips that we'll see later in the film is in the opening credits. And they try to do these like farcical humor. Like, for example, this thing of phone tag where John Candy's trying to reach Lawrence Dane. And then the cop's like, okay, I'll go find him. And then Lawrence Dane comes to John Candy. Oh, hey, yeah, this guy's trying to find you. And John Candy gives the phone to Lawrence Dane. And then John Candy goes to where that cop is. And then he picks up the phone. And then Lawrence Dane's like, what are you doing over there? You do find the clip on YouTube. Find the Lady, 1976 John Candy. There's a clip, and it's like the thumbnail is like John Candy on the phone. It's not that funny. That's what I mean. A lot of the jokes fall flat. There's no comic timing. If you're going to do that kind of stuff, you need timing. This doesn't have it. And it's a lot of, like, the humor from John Candy is bumbling. Like, he bumbles through an office and breaks a desk or two, and he topples some of the office walls. Or him and Lawrence Dane, they accidentally crash into a truck. And the truck just happens to be this one bad guy nicknamed the Wheel or the Wheelman, something of that nature. And they're able to talk to the guy, and these other two guys are looking for it at this concert hall. And one of the guys is Mickey Rooney, who plays his character Trigger. And all he does throughout the film is he mentions how he used to work for this guy named Bubsy and how he wants to shoot someone. Or play cards. And he's with this other guy. Again, this early stuff with John Candy is like they can't... Hey, John Candy's fat, so make sure you get some jokes about food. So like John Candy, even though they're on staked out looking at this concert hall, he has this big pizza, and a piece of pizza falls in Lawrence Dane's hat. And Lawrence Dane takes it and puts in John Candy's hat and gives it back to him. What's happening in the concert hall? This woman is singing opera. Her boyfriend comes in, then her father comes in, or her uncle. I can't remember. It might be her uncle. Anyway, the older character is Peter Cook. He was a guy who was the subordinate to the evil villainess in Supergirl. Like, you have the... What was it? Nigel in that movie? Anyway, if anyone remembers Supergirl, you had the villain and the woman that was with her. Then they had a guy with them. And that guy is Peter Cook, who's in this. And... sometimes they put scenes in that are just filler. Like, this little girl passes by the car that's on staked out, and she waves, and Lawrence Dane rolls down the window and waves at her, and then the mom grabs her, and they walk off. I'm like, what was the point of that scene? There was no point. It was like filler. Mickey Rooney and the other guy, they kidnapped this woman. Later on, they find out they kidnapped the wrong woman, but they don't know that yet. But they kidnapped this woman, and John Candy and Lawrence Dane see them. But John Candy, he's fat, he's bumbling, and he's an idiot. So his pizza and his thermos are on the horn, it's blaring, and Lawrence Dane's like, get that out of the way, get that out of the way. And they try to follow the car, but they smash the car. Like I said, Mickey Rooney, when he's thinking of cars, booze, or broads. At one point, they're keeping this woman at this sort of carnival, and he hears a noise and shoots at this hall of mirrors because he has an itchy trigger finger. And like I said, they took the wrong woman. The right woman, the woman who was singing at the opera, she wants to run away from her boyfriend, so he's like, hey, maybe we'll make it think like I've been kidnapped, but I'll go off with you to this shitty club. And the boyfriend says, it's a shitty club. And she's like, yeah, I know, but I want to make it on my own, because she's from a rich family. Lawrence Dane and John Candy go up to Peter Cook, because people think that she's been taken. And again, they do this play on words that, when it's written well, like Abbott Costello, Who Goes First, or even some stuff in Spaceballs, speaking of John Candy, it would be very funny. But here it's a guy's named Hugo or Udo, but someone says Udo, and then John Candy's walking, and Lawrence Dane's like, where are you going? Well, he told me to go answer the door. No, not Udo. Udo. Like, Hugo. Pretty much showing that John Candy's dumb. It'll come back to the guy and the woman, like the boyfriend and the woman, at this shitty club. And you have this very flamboyant gay cross-dresser. Actually, I don't know if he's gay. He's just a very flamboyant cross-dresser. And he was leading the show. And then some people kidnap the real girl. Meanwhile, Lawrence Dane and John Candy were Peter Cook. And Lawrence Dane and John Candy have this other guy who's an Asian guy. Of course, we know he's Asian because anytime he pops up, you hear a fucking gong sound. Like, gong. I'm like, Jesus, really? But at least the guy who's Asian, he has no dialogue, but he's the smartest guy in the movie. Because he's actually doing stuff the right way. So that little bit I liked. I will admit, I liked it. He's the smartest guy in the flick. Like, people think he's dumb, and they keep saying #1 son, but he's, like, not saying anything, but he's, like, listening in, tracking phone calls, and later on telling Lawrence Dane and John Candy where they need to go. We don't hear him say it, but we get the idea of when Lawrence Dane, hey, I think Asian guy's character's name was Flanagan. hey, Flanagan told me this, and that's what we get in the third act, where it's this carnival chaos, which I'll get to. But I mean, other stuff in the flick. Lawrence Dane, John Candy talked with the people at the show, the other showgirls, the cross-dresser guy who they think is a woman, but then find out it's a man. They find out about Flanagan, the Asian guy, where this phone tap went to. And it's like, okay, well, we could be there at this time. And John Candy goes, hey, can we stop by a pizza place? I'm hungry. I'm starving, sir. So they stop at a pizza place. The real girl was kidnapped by the opera guy who is above the pizza place, and she escapes. Mickey Rooney is there because he was hungry, and they find out they kidnapped the wrong woman, so he's going to go to, and it just so happens to be the same pizza place, and then that's also the pizza place John Candy goes to. So they're all there, but John Candy, again, his character's dumb, so he doesn't recognize Mickey Rooney and doesn't recognize that's the woman they're trying to find. And John Candy tosses these two people, and get this, one is named Luigi, one is named Mario. I shit you not. And this is 1976. This is before Super Mario Brothers. I'm like, I guess either those really are very stereotypical Italian names, Mario and Luigi, or someone saw this movie when they decided to make the Mario Brothers movie. Oh, I think Mario is based on some guy they knew that was called Mario, but it just made me like, what? Like, John Candy's talking to the one guy who's named Mario and one guy who's named Luigi? I think one of them kind of looked like Mario, but maybe I can't remember now. It's like Mario and Luigi, holy shit. But Mickey Rooney notices the girl, takes the girl, and the girl's boyfriend, and the cross-dressers with him, and they all follow. And pretty much everyone goes on. The cops go to the carnival. Mickey Rooney, as the girl, goes to the carnival. The boyfriend and the cross-dresser and this other person are with them. They follow to the carnival. Everyone's at this carnival, and everything goes crazy. All these cops in trench coats try to go in, and the boyfriend, the cross-dresser, everybody goes in. They find the woman, the wrong woman that was taken. It's a black woman who punches John Candy in the face. And she goes, well, if I was a white woman, you would find me sooner. But when I'm talking about carnival chaos, it's just a clusterfuck. It's Lawrence Dane goes down this same fucking slide, I swear, 5 times. People are going all around, up, down, and center, going through hidden doors, and doors that swing and come back the other way, or try to walk down this hallway that gets smaller and smaller. And there's this carnival with a dragon that spits fire, and just all this chaos, people going back and forth, up, down, back and forth, up, down. Just a clusterfuck. I can't say I was bored during that scene because there was something going on, but the last hour and 15 minutes, I did not give a fuck what was going on. Like, the last hour and 10 minutes, or the first, I should say, the previous hour and 10 minutes, I didn't give a shit what was going on, so maybe if this was in a different movie, I would like it more. And then Mickey Rooney's shooting at Lawrence Dane, but then the Asian guy is there, and he jumps down, and it's one of those things where he jumps down, and Mickey Rooney flies back up, and when he jumped down, he flew into a hidden wall. And then Lawrence Dane comes up, and Mickey Rooney comes down, Lawrence Dane flies up. Then Mickey Rooney stays, he walks and he falls into this hole in the floor where John Candy's at. And then Lawrence Dane's in the ceiling and he says, hey, arrest them all. And then you have this wrap-up that kind of like you would see on Dragnet, where they show slides and it's narration and what happened to all these people. Then after that, and then they show a badge, like Dragnet. And then at the end, it's Lawrence Dane and John Candy with black suits, tops. And they find that guy, the wheelman that gave them information in the first place. They try to chase him. They go around a corner. You hear a car crash. They walk out. Lawrence Dane is yelling at John Candy for what he did, and the movie's over. And people are like, well, why do you just explain and talk what's in the movie? I do that so you don't have to watch the movie. This is why I go through anything and everything that happens in the film, because that way you don't have to waste fucking an hour and 30 minutes, hour and 20 some minutes watching a fucking movie in which it's not worth it. You'd either watch my video for 20 minutes or less, or you can go ahead and watch that hour and some 90-minute movie. John Candy is given a nothing role where he's either bumbles physical comedy, which there are plenty of movies he's done that better. Who's Harry Crumb? He did it better. Great Outdoors, better. Summer Rental, better. Many of those movies, better. Uncle Buck, better. Planes, Trains, Automobiles, better. He's given nothing to do with his character. His character's not allowed to have any personality other than, oh, yes sir, no sir, and hey, can we get some pizza? Or let me eat some pizza while on stakeout. And yes sir, no sir. Lawrence Dane, I like him as an actor. I don't like him in these movies. And I think it's because of the script. He's good in Rituals with Hal Holbrook. He's not. He's given either bad direction or a bad script. I just don't care for him in this movie. The rest of the cast, I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a shit about the cross-dressing guy. I don't give a shit about the woman or her boyfriend, which are nothing characters. The best guy in the movie was the Asian guy named Flanagan. He didn't say one fucking word. I mean, because he was like the smartest guy in the movie. Although you didn't need a fucking gong sound every time you fucking saw him. It's just lame jokes, lame timing, badly directed, a bad version of Dragnet. That's really what it is. And despite the cover, where the thumbnail, the poster I found was, he's a detective and no one has a clue why. It looks like it could be a sequel to fucking Who's Harry Crumb. The way they do that. And Who's Harry Crumb is a much better movie than this. You want to see that kind of movie? Watch Who's Harry Crumb. John Candy as a bumbling cop, bumbling detective. Or watch him as a good cop in a funny movie called Armed and Dangerous, which is very underrated. And John Candy doesn't even really look like that in the movie. I mean, again, it looks like, I'm looking at it now, it looks like a Police Academy ripoff, honestly. And I wish it was that, because it would have been better. I love the first 4 Police Academy movies. They're miles better than this shit. Find the lady, find entertainment somewhere else, because it's not in this movie. Find some blow to wake you up. I don't know. Find your fucking Pepto-Bismol, because you'll have a stomach ache after watching this. Or find your fucking Advil, because you'll have a headache after watching this shit. It just... Unless you're a diehard John Candy fan, which is why I saw this, because I'd never seen it before, and there's a reason for it. Don't believe me? Just watch clips on YouTube. Or it's on YouTube. I found this to watch on YouTube. You watch the entire movie. If you liked it, good on you. I can't take that away from you. I did not. It's a bad version of a farce. It's a bad version of that kind of comedy. So thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.